Hello everybody and welcome back to Good Company. As always, I am Dor, and today we're going to go ahead and wrap up the series here. So we're going to go ahead and redo our lines so we can go ahead and make our new blueprints. I went ahead and fired everybody already, and I removed some tables. I didn't remove all of them because some of this stuff kind of overlaps and we need it anyways. Like the integrated circuits, we're going to need a bunch of those again. And the little battery line that we have set up here, we can just go ahead and repurpose that to the thing that we actually need now. So for instance, we're going to have to redo the filters and stuff on the shelving units and such, but if we just go ahead and click into the machine, we can go ahead and change it to the battery stack, and that's going to produce the little ones, and then that's going to go into the shelving unit that's then going to be making the quadruple battery stack, and then we can go ahead and take that as a finished product from the shelf and have it go into the tables, because the battery stack that we are producing can only be made in a table. It can only be made in this table here. So we're going to need 11 of these battery blocks being produced for each of our products, right? We have 11 products being made. Each of them has at least one of these in it. So if we're going to keep the thing going that we're doubling up on each table, so we're going to need 22 of these tables down to be making them a day, because it takes a full day for the table to even make them anyways, or it takes almost a full day. So we're gonna have to have 22 of these tables down to try and meet the demand of having just having two tables making the finished product that these are going to go into. But for right now, what I think I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take all of the tables from the warehouses that are making the integrated circuits, and we're going to go ahead and plop them into this one, and if they don't all fit in this one, we're going to use this warehouse as well to go ahead and have these things kind of in a central location that we can then have our carrier employees bring the stuff back down the way here. Okay, so this is what it's going to kind of look like for the remainder of these things, right? I'm going to try and separate them out into their own warehouses really quick. But for the integrated circuits here, we went ahead and added in one more table just to even out the amount that we had down. And we also have room for another 2 on the end here, and then a couple more down the side here if we need it. But we'll go ahead and leave that be for right now. We'll leave those guys to do their thing. We are going to automate the plastic cases. We can go ahead and repurpose, where's that warehouse at? This warehouse here, where you no longer need these plastic chassis. Those aren't going to be used for any of our thing anymore. But if we go ahead and look in the machine, we can go ahead and make the plastic cases. We are only going to need one of these, so we might only actually run one machine here, because it makes one of them every 0.17 of a day. So I think we can have this thing kind of just making what we need. We don't need to go overkill with this thing. So since I think all we need is this one machine to be making the simple cases, we can also go ahead and squeeze in the secondary case that's going to be using these cases, which is going to be the enhanced case. And then we can go ahead and just set up some shelves and stuff to go ahead and automate this little section here, and then we will have those going to where they need to go. But I went ahead and swapped over the battery stuff already. We kind of had to scoot it back a little bit, because the way these ones work is they don't need the chemicals coming into it. It's a different item. So it's the plastic, metal, and the batteries. So we needed a space so our employees can get in there and fill up the shelf. So that should work. And that's the most of that battery line done. We need to set up the other line now, which is the tables, and we will go ahead and place down 6 of these right now. And then I already know that's not going to be enough to keep this thing running, but it'll at least get us started and hopefully get things rolling for us, hopefully. So I think I have most of the other stuff kind of squared away. I still need a few more things, but over here in the motor room that we set up last episode, 2 episodes ago, I don't remember, we can actually keep most of this, right? All of these engines go into the next tier of the engine that we're going to be using. So we can go ahead and place down more of the mechanic workbenches, right? Is what these guys use, and these guys are going to be making the tier 2 high-speed motors. We are going to have only 4 of these tables working, so we will actually double up on this one over here, and that should be the right spacing, I think. If not, we'll just go ahead and move it. We'll have the 4 of these guys making the high-speed motors, and then we'll end up having 6 more of these tables placed down, and these guys will be making the torque motor. So this guy needs to actually face that way. We'll have a little walkway in between here, so we get the most out of this room, so that can go that way, and that way. And that's the 6 making those guys. So these guys will make the high-speed ones, and these guys will make the torque ones. And that should be all of the motors that we're gonna need being produced in this one factory. Hopefully, if not, we have room to expand a couple more tables, but we can't automate these any other way other than having the employees making them. So worst case scenario, we'll have to use another warehouse to squeeze even more of these things in, but we should be kind of okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do the shelving really quick and get a few more of the machinery things that we need squared away. So I did the cases here. These guys don't need to be moved. We might need another monophone speaker setup being produced to meet the demand of what we need. And then we have a few more things we need to set up before we can get going here today, but let me go ahead and get cracking with those. And now we have everything done, right? This took us a little while longer than I expected, but we have our storage containers being made in this warehouse here. We have some of the metal frames being made in here as well. We need a couple of those for one of these storage units and then something else in another factory. And then we have the multicolored PCBs being produced in this warehouse as well. Down to the bottom left where we have our bot chassis being made, and that's pretty much working as intended. Is this running? This should be running. Yeah, it's running. Okay, cool. And then back over here in the original warehouse, we have our mechanical parts being made here, and we also have the multi-layered gearbox things, the triple stage gearboxes. We only need one of those being made, I think. And then we also have the triple extension arm things being made, triple jointed segments. Those are being made in this warehouse. Everything is being dragged across the map here. So what I went ahead and did this time around, instead of having multiple things being carried out of a pallet, we have a line for each item that is being produced and used in our little setup here. And each one of them has their own dedicated line. The route has the item selected to carry the most that it can, and then it is just going in a big line, basically going from where it's produced to where it's needed. So we don't have a route carrying metal and plastic and then going to one warehouse, and then the warehouse next to it doesn't need those items. It needs something else. Instead of having it pick up and make a bunch of weird routes and stuff like that, we just went ahead and did this. It kind of made it a lot simpler. We have 4 employees on every single one of these lines right now, each one of the carrier lines. Each warehouse, I think, has at least 6 employees. Some of them have more than that. In this warehouse, for some reason, I was having an issue where this shelving unit wasn't getting serviced by the employees for some reason. They were just ignoring it until I took a thing of screws, I think it was, right? Yeah, took a thing of screws and put it in here, and then it registered that the employees needed delivered to that rack. I don't know what was going on there, but it fixed itself after I did that, so that seemed to have fixed it. And then everything else has been running smoothly. These machines over here, these welding and milling machines, if you see the thing, right, I'm going to put the arrow right next to my character. There's one arrow on the character, right, and then the one next to that is the input, and then on the other end is the output, except the arrow tells me that it's going outward like it's in a straight line, but it's not. It's coming out to the left. So I went ahead and set this whole factory up thinking that's how it's working, but none of the things were actually coming out because they all come out the side there at an angle. So I had to rearrange this whole factory. This thing was running for like 20 minutes before I realized that was an issue, and then we managed to catch that in time, but it's running now and everything is running smoothly. But anyways, we have several factories set up, kind of independent, right? That's what I was trying to do. This place is making the radio things and the coated glass. There's really not much going on in here. And then this place is making the camera sensors that we need. So the big warehouse is making the batteries, right? We set those things up, and then it's also making the LCD screens, the LCD dot matrix ones, and it's making a bunch of the other circuit boards and stuff that we need as well. It's also making one of the antennas, the FM, or no, this is the digital wireless link. This one's making that because it needed one of the things, I think it's this stuff that is being produced in this warehouse. So I figured we might as well just shove it in this place instead of having a courier guy carrying it back and forth. But really quickly here, we need to go ahead and set up another line, right? Because right now we don't have any of our stuff being sold. Everything is on backlog and in the shelves. We have a storage array of things getting built up over here so that we should be able to start cranking out some products here once we start selling. So let's go ahead and place down a couple of the courier pallets, right? Because we have 11 items here that need to be sold, and I want to go ahead and give 9 inventory slots to each thing here instead of the full pallet. So one of these will have a full pallet to themselves, I guess, but everything else will have 3 items to it. So all we need to do is click on the items that are actually being produced. So this guy is the little gray looking one. We'll give that one 6 slots. And then the one next to it is the little magnet drone thingy, which is this guy. Give that 6 slots. And then I'm going to go ahead and just do that through all of these. And then we're going to start racking through the money here and hopefully completing some of these quests. I kind of want to try for this one, the 1.2 million one. We completed these two in between cuts there. I don't know what it gave me, to be honest. I don't remember. Okay, so with those things up and running, we made 218,000. I think that was just off these first 2 pallets that were full of items. I don't think these ones had anything in them yet. But what I'm realizing already is we can go ahead and actually shove a few more employees into this building. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to go ahead and hold off for this stuff to finish out. And then we're going to toggle some of these other things on because I feel like we can go ahead and complete some of these guys as well today. Okay, so as this is running and and we're actually using the items now, right? We kind of are tearing through the backlog, not really fast, but we are running through whatever backlog we did have. So what I need to go ahead and do now, because one of these tables is already having issues keeping up, we're going to go ahead and add in another plastic maker here. So we need one of these guys, and what is that? The plastic forming machine, right? This guy. And all we're going to do is shove it over here in the corner. We're going to go ahead and just automate this kind of easily, right? Okay, so I don't think we actually need 2 of these machines down. The arm right here wasn't actually running because we had 20 of the old bot chassis on it. The things we were making before we swapped the machine over. I didn't realize it because I can't see that the little icon would have been there. So yeah, it wasn't running, and it hasn't been running for a while now, but let's go ahead and get rid of those. We don't use them in our factory, but now this thing's going to be running, and it should go ahead and start producing these guys at a decent speed here. We don't need a whole lot of the plastic cases. I think we need like 2 of them being made, and this thing produces them at 0.15 a day, so we should be good there. And as this stuff's running here, I think what we're going to go ahead and do, since this south station is very small, we are just going to go ahead and move all of these things out of the range here, have all 11 pallets down so that we can build a backlog of those things, and then we're going to go ahead and set a courier route to a different factory that has a bigger cell area, because that little one's not going to do it, and having half of a pallet dedicated to each item isn't actually working out that well for us right now. All right, actually what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to have 9 of them dedicated to this one warehouse, because we can fit 9 pallets into this warehouse to sell from, and then we have the other 2 exporting the Game Boy looking thingy-mabobber that we're making, and then the music player that we're making, and those 2 are going back to our main little building since it has a lot of space open, and we're just going to go ahead and have them go there, sell from that place, and that way we can have everything being sold in full pallets and selling the most of those items as we can. But we just completed 2 of those quests. We are having a little bit of a hiccup with these cases still, and it looks like stop scrolling. Looks like we might have just had some issues with one of the circuit things. Which one? Multi-core systems. So those guys are being made in the big factory, and their holdup is programmable circuits, which are these guys, and this guy's not moving. Why is he not moving? It's producing stuff right now. That's why it's not moving. Okay. Actually, no, it needs electronic parts that aren't in there. I did set filters on these guys, right? 1, 10, and 3. It's full of stuff, and it's not grabbing any electronic parts. So let's fix that by shoving electronic parts in there, and then that should start producing stuff, and we should be good. Okay, cool. So the cycle ended, and we completed 2 of those. We were, I think, like 100 products or batches off of completing this one, but we will go ahead and delete that one right now, and then we're going to go ahead and add in this one, see if we can make 1.2 million more than what we're purchasing the material for. We are making the robotic pipe cleaners, and we have to earn 150,000 with those things. I'm going to go ahead and give that a whirl, and then I think this one is something we can do, sell 750 products with a rating of 9.6 or higher. I think we have that, so I'm going to go ahead and set it. If that doesn't budge any by the first month, I'm going to go ahead and swap it out. We are going to go ahead and let the game just run here. We are producing or profiting 371 grand a cycle here, so we're doing kind of decent right now. We have just shy of 400 employees working for us, and we have 1,000 of the science point things, or the what are these guys called? Success points. So let's just go ahead and unlock the rest of these guys that we can. I think we have enough points to do the rest of these things. No, we need 480. We need another, what is that, 1,000, 2,000 points there. So we're almost done with the entire research tree, or business development tree, not research tree. But since we are selling these things, and they are selling pretty decently right now, we can go ahead and rank these things up and try and make even more money on these things. So let's go ahead and progress all of our products that we can. And I guess rank 7 is the max level. I wish I had known that, because then I would have just ranked them all up to 7 and then made the final blueprints off of those. Well, I didn't know that. Anyways, we have 2 of them to level 7. This one is about halfway there right now, the toy robot. The pocket computer is there as well. Let's go and rank it up. We're making 1,300 off of that. Our game device is ready to go. We have a weekly demand of 52 of them. If we want, we can go ahead and decrease the pricing here so that we can go ahead and have a 5-star rating and sell even more of them a week. We can also do that over here with the toy robot. Actually, no, we're going to leave that alone because it's not even... it's not ranked up yet, so once it ranks up, we might be okay with it. Our little carrier drone is ready to go as well. We can go ahead and decrease the pricing on that so we can sell more of them. And is it gonna let me see, 19%, 21%, 20% is gonna work. We are only making 600 on that. And then the cleaner bot here isn't ready. The delivery drone's not ready. That's not ready. That one's nowhere near ready, and that one's nowhere near ready either. Okay, so we'll just leave these things running. We'll go ahead and turn the time up again. And hopefully in a second here, we have some of these guys completed. We're already 50,000 in on the cleaning robots, so that's nice. Okay, so we completed the other 2 quests again, right? We didn't complete this one. This one got to 635 or 640, and it didn't go anymore because we ran out of our backlog of items. I don't think we're going to be able to complete any of these right now because our infrastructure is failing, and it's failing very quickly. We don't have enough of this stuff coming through the line right now, so all of our PCB stuff grinded to a halt. We needed more of the circuit things we're producing in this, the programmable circuit. So we went ahead and added in 2 more of those. Those are kind of keeping things going now. We're building a backlog on that. We were running into an issue with these multi-core systems, and we added in 2 more of those tables here. And right now they kind of seem to be catching up with stuff, but I think the only reason those are catching up is because we don't have any PCBs coming through the line. So I went ahead and added in that secondary little coated glass maker, and I'm hoping this kind of catches things back up and allows it to start producing, but it kind of doesn't seem like it's going to be doing that. I'm going to let it run for a few more minutes here. We've gone up, I think, like 2 or 3 mil. So far, we were at like 17 mil, I think, starting today. But I'm going to let this run. I'm going to leave all these alone. I don't think we can do any more of these. We are running into shortages here. So yeah, I'm gonna let it run for a few minutes, see if anything straightens itself back out. If it does, cool. If not, then we'll be right back regardless. Okay, so we are hitting the end of the line here right now. We are having everything else kind of cascading and failing in a foul swoop here. We don't have screws coming in now. We weren't having that issue a second ago. But one of the helpful screens I wish I would have paid attention to early on in the game, and as I was setting up this factory, is this screen here, the little bar graph thing with the gears next to it. This tells you your production rate and your consumption rate. So if we go ahead and click the name thing here, right, to put it in alphabetical order, we can go ahead and see that we have a maximum production rate of 20. Oh, well, it just shifted back. We have a maximum production rate of 27.1 of these wooden bot chassis, and we need 29 of them at maximum capacity for our production rate. But we're only outputting 18, and we're only consuming 19 of them. So we're not breaking uneven on that just yet because we have such a backlog on it that the factory here isn't actually running at full capacity, right? And so you could use this screen to go ahead and balance out your factory a lot better than I just did. We are still turning a profit, but everything is grinding slowly to a halt because we don't have the production capacity met. But we can just scroll through this list and see, like, we are making 39 of the stereo cameras and we need 38 of them. So we will always produce one extra than we're actually consuming. So eventually we will end up building a backlog for that item. But a lot of the stuff is not running as efficiently and as much as we need it to be coming through the line. So that's why we're having the issues we're having right now. But anyways, we went ahead and completed a lot of these quests. We have a lot of these things done, a lot of them still to go. But I think next time we pick this game up, I'm going to wait until maybe it leaves early access or maybe it has a few more updates. Right now, we are having a little bit of an issue because there was an update. We're having these guys just hanging out. They're not doing their routes anymore. I don't know why. Some of them aren't even grabbing stuff. And the ones that aren't grabbing stuff is either because there's not stuff there for them to grab or they're not grabbing in general, because I have one of them doing this route to grab chemicals from this pallet and then drop them off in this pallet, and then I have 4 employees on that route, and 2 of them are doing it and 2 of them aren't. So I don't know if it's because there's a limit to how much they can actually do and the other 2 don't want to fill their carts up and push them, or what's going on there. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the series here. I'll go ahead and pick it up again somewhere down the line, but for right now, it's gonna go ahead and be it for today's episode and the series. So hope you guys enjoyed as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.